Hello and welcome to another one of our Bible stories. It's sometimes very hard to do what's right, isn't it? When your mum says you're not allowed to go to the play park, but your friends persuade you to go, you're certain to get a telling off, aren't you? In today's story, these young boys we met last week have grown into men, and they are still sticking to what they know is right. And they end up in deep trouble. That doesn't sound fair, does it? But don't worry, God hasn't deserted them. Let's open the book to the Bible story called The Men Who Like to Say No. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar's herald announced, "All wise men and governors must go to the plain of Dura. The king has a surprise for you." When the wise men got there, they found the biggest statue they had ever seen, and at its feet was the biggest band they had ever seen. At the sound of the trumpet, the horn, the bagpipe and the harp, you must all bow down and worship this golden statue, the herald shouted. Anyone who disobeys will be thrown into a flaming, fiery furnace. The band began to play, and everybody worshipped the statue. Well, almost everyone. For there were 3 men who did not bow down and worship: Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, all grown up now, the men who liked to say no. When King Nebuchadnezzar saw them, he was very angry. "Who dares defy my order?" he growled. "Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego," some men said, men who didn't like foreigners from Jerusalem having such important jobs. "Bring them to me at once," growled Nebuchadnezzar. So the men who liked to say no were dragged before the king. "You heard the order," growled Nebuchadnezzar, "and you did not obey. Will you worship the statue now?" "No," said Shadrach. "We will not worship your statue. Our God has told us that this would be wrong." "No," said Meshach, "and we will not forget our God or the land he gave us, the land from which we were taken." "No," said Abednego, "and our God will not forget us." "Then off to the furnace," growled the king. "Make it 7 times hotter than it has been before, and tie them up so they cannot escape." So the men who liked to say no were thrown into the furnace. Its flames were so hot that the men who threw them in were burned up in an instant. But things were different for the 3 friends. They weren't burning, they weren't sweating, and they weren't alone. There beside them stood an angel, flickering like the furnace flames. He touched a finger on the ropes that bound them, and they burned right through. But there wasn't even a blister on the skin of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. "God is with you," the angel whispered. "You have nothing to fear." Now Nebuchadnezzar's lips were no longer twisted in an angry snarl. No, they hung open and limp with amazement. "We threw 3 men into the furnace," he said. "Now look, there are 4 men in there." The herald crept closer and said, "It must be an angel, sent by the God these men refuse to forget. If so, he is a very powerful God, for they are unharmed." Nebuchadnezzar leapt to his feet and ordered Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego to come out. Everyone gathered around them to have a closer look, and then the king said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, the one God." They did not forget him, and he did not forget them, and therefore commanded that no one shall say anything about this God. "And what is more, I shall give Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego even more important jobs in my kingdom." And he looked at the 3 friends. "Surely," he grinned, "you can say yes to this." And the three friends looked at each other. Then together they looked at the king. "No problem," they answered. What brave men they were. They were ready to die rather than give in to what they knew was wrong. Even today, in many parts of the world, there are people suffering because they made choices to do what they believe to be right, and it gets them into trouble. They say these people are being persecuted. Think about how brave and strong these people must be. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end after me. Dear God, please help all those people in the world who are persecuted for their beliefs. Help us to respect those people who stand up for what they believe in. Amen. Amen. Thank you for listening. I look forward to bringing you another story again soon. Take care, keep safe, and God bless you all. Bye for now.